I've been in sort of a ragtime mood lately. Now that's pretty gentle ragtime. Let me know if anybody recognizes that. That'll be today's or this week's trivia question. So it is Friday, August 27th. It has been a busy week around here. Like always, I say that every week, but you know what? We're just like cooking with all kinds of cool stuff. I hope everybody's had a chance to check out all the new tunes. We had a little more Doobie Brothers. Of course, that one was already there, but we had China Grove, and then a couple of cool finger-picking ones. I hope everybody's enjoying Blackwater and South City Midnight Lady, because those are two that I love to teach people, and they are kind of tricky in some respects, kind of straightforward in others, but it sort of really depends on what you can already do, you know. And then of course at the beginning of the week we had another guest lesson from Matt B. looking at Sublime, What I Got. So I hope everybody's had a chance to check that out. I know we are definitely trying to branch out and get as many cool different things out there. So I really appreciate Matt taking the time to help us out with some lessons. And then today's entry, we've also had a lot of requests for country blues. Now that means stuff like Gary Davis, Blind Blake, Blind Boy Fuller, Jorma Kaukonen, Hot Tuna and stuff. We didn't get to that one yet. We got to a Doobie Brothers, well, a tune that Pat Simmons put on the first Doobie Brothers album. Chicago. Now, I hope you get a chance to read the, or look at the preview that I did in Chicago, because I give you a lot of background about it, and there's a lot of local attachments to this song put together back here in Los Gatos back in the early 60s. So, although the song was written in Cambridge by a group of people. Well, anyway, check out the lesson to find out more about this cool bluesy tune, Chicago, from the first Doobie Brothers album. So, speaking of the Doobie Brothers, if you are not a Target member, we have put together a 5-pack, kind of Doobie Brothers tunes that includes 3 big Tom Johnston hits, Listen to the Music, China Grove, and what the heck was the other one? We got China Grove, Listen to the Music, oh, and Long Train Runnin'. Anyway, and then 2 of Pat Simmons' cool finger-picking songs, Blackwater and South City Midnight Lady, both done in altered tunings. Of course, Blackwater is in double drop D, and South City Midnight Lady is in open G, so I'm not going to launch into them right now in the interest of saving you the pain of listening to me retune my guitar for a few minutes. But cool thing about the Doobie Brothers pack, too, is we're throwing in 2 songs that we've got in the Doobie Brothers section, but they're covers the Doobie Brothers did. One of which is that tune, Chicago, that I just played, and the other is the instrumental that is buried in the middle of The Captain and Me, that I know a lot of you have worked on. Pat called it Busted Down Around O'Connelly Corners, and that is the title we're going with now, because more people would recognize it as that. But it was, of course, written by another student of the same teacher we were all taking lessons from back in the 60s, James Earl Luft. You can follow that story in the Ivory Salamander, which is what it was called originally. So, anyway, the Doobie Brothers 5+ pack, 5+2 pack, is available to anybody that just wants to work on the Doobie Brothers tunes. And if you're a Target member, of course, you got them all anyway. So, you might want to think about joining the Target program just to have those Doobie Brothers tunes. And of course, last week we rolled out a pack of songs by Paul Simon too. 2 or 3 of his solo songs, but most of them were early Simon and Garfunkel songs. I think we had Duncan and American Tune, and then all the rest of them were from earlier albums. So we've got a 10-pack of Paul Simon too, in case you missed that last week. Interesting stuff going on the forum, and one of the things I forgot to mention last week is I really wanted to thank Wiley, one of our longtime members and roving reporter, who put together a great thread on his trip to Nashville from a few weeks ago. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, track down the thread in the forum for Wiley's visit and report on his trip to Nashville, because there's some really, really interesting things there. And speaking of the forum, some other really interesting things that have come through there lately. I guess I'd like to thank Tovo for bringing these up. He came up with a couple of threads called Dare to Dream. You know, who would you most like to have in a band, or who would you most like to play guitar with, or who would you most like to meet? And all those kinds of things are really interesting, provocative thoughts that sparked a lot of conversation. So if if you get a chance, be sure to check those out. Another one that jumped out at me this week was, what other instruments would you play? You know what, here's a secret. I used to play the violin. Well, I'm not going into that. From 4th grade to 8th grade, I played the violin and viola, but guitar was a way more fun, and I'm really glad I stuck with the guitar and I'm not still playing, hacking away at the viola or the violin. So, I want to talk about one more thing. Oh, some student reviews that we had this week. Of course, last week we ended with, everybody knows, one of my favorite songwriters. No, really my favorite songwriter and one of his greatest tunes. But this week we looked at a little Radiohead. We had a review of Karma Police, and we had a little review of Nights in White Satin, a little Windy and Warm. So we had a couple of finger-picking tunes thrown in this week, along with Lindsey Buckingham's Never Going Back, and finger-picking version of Here Comes the Sun. So a lot of the stuff that we got out this week in terms of that, 3 finger-picking songs, a Radiohead song, and the first one that I just played, Nights in White Satin, the Moody Blues. So, but I do want to tell you one more thing, and I have a post on the forum about this, that I'm having a blast going through these. I've been able to set aside a little bit more time lately to take a look at some of the older reviews or videos that Target students have uploaded, and have found some ones, I guess I could call them vintage ones. I guess we're going to now have a new feature called Vintage Student Reviews that are a few months old, but there's still a ton of learning opportunities and education stuff that can be pulled out of these and improving your guitar playing. So I'm going to be working on some of those, and kind of in the interest of making sure that everybody that puts one up, I would love to make sure that I've gotten a review to everybody that's ever put one up. Now, along that line, if you have never gotten a review and you have a Target song that you've uploaded, be sure go into that thread and add a reply to it to bump it up to the top so that I can see it, because I do have an immediate goal of making sure that every Target member who has uploaded a Target song gets at least one review. And so there are probably some that have slipped through the cracks. Now I hope there are not like 50 that have slipped through the cracks. If there are, I'm going to do all 50 of them. It just might take a few months to get that to happen. Now, if you're a Target member and you've uploaded songs that are not Target songs, the way to get them reviewed to start with is do Target songs. And part of the reason that I really lean towards those, there's two main reasons. One is I know those songs really well. That helps. The more important thing, though, is that I know that many people are working on those songs. So, and now, on the other hand, some people that have uploaded songs that are not Target songs have become Target songs. Sometimes I'm going to hold off on a review of a song because I know it's coming out soon, and then frequently the person that uploaded may want to work on. That happened recently with Duncan. I think it was Jay Crockett. Is that right? Put up a video of Duncan, and I was just about to review it, and then I thought, wait a minute, I just did a lesson on Duncan. It's going to be coming out really soon. So it just never quite know how the cogs are working, if they even are around in here. So that is it, I think. So keep the reviews, keep uploading the songs. I guess I do the reviews, you do the uploads, huh? But that's okay. It's all semantics, terminology, entomology. Huh? And back to I will see you next week.